Breaking news, TikTok star Gabbie Gonzalez has been arrested on conspiracy-related charges and could potentially face serious criminal accusations, with her bond currently set at $2 million. According to TMZ report, Gabbie was initially arrested in Humboldt County and then transferred to LA County Jail, where she was booked on a felony charge. While we don't know what the alleged underlying crime is just yet, we do know that it is serious enough that the LA District Attorney's Office is spearheading this investigation and has not yet released more details. Gabbie Gonzalez's estranged husband appears to be celebrating her arrest for an alleged conspiracy to kill the father of her child. According to reports and court documents cited by TMZ, investigators say multiple witnesses provided information to authorities, including Gabbie's former nanny and her estranged husband. Police also allege Gabbie's father, Francisco Gonzalez, who has also been arrested, made statements about wanting custody of the child Gabbie shares with Jack Avery. Federal agents reportedly raided a home connected to the case in Hawaii back in 2022 before the investigation was later handed over to the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Gabbie Gonzalez is now facing serious allegations, with bond reportedly set at $2 million. Meanwhile, Francisco Gonzalez remains jailed in Florida awaiting extradition.
She had nearly 1 million followers. She posted sunsets. She posted her daughter's laugh. She called herself a lover of life and a mermaid at heart. And according to federal investigators, she was allegedly planning to have someone killed. The man she allegedly wanted dead, the father of that little girl. This is the case of Gabbie Gonzalez, a case so strange, so layered, so digital age disturbing, that it didn't just break the internet, it broke something else entirely. Let's start where every good story starts, not at the crime, but at the beginning, because you can't understand what allegedly happened without understanding who these people were. Gabriela Gonzalez, known online as Gabbie, was a 24-year-old lifestyle and travel influencer living in California. Over 400,000 followers on TikTok and Instagram. Her feed was everything the algorithm loves: palm trees, waterfalls, her daughter's face, a life that looked effortlessly beautiful. She cooked. She danced. She went viral on pop culture takes. By every visible measure, she was thriving. And the father of her 7-year-old daughter, that was Jack Avery, age 26, former member of Why Don't We, a pop boy band that had toured arenas, amassed millions of fans worldwide, and had only recently disbanded after years of public chaos with their former management. Jack wasn't just some ex. He was someone people knew, someone recognizable, someone with a fan base of his own. And standing behind all of it, supporting his daughter through every legal twist, Francisco Javier Gonzalez, age 59, a civil attorney based in Florida specializing in wrongful death and medical malpractice, a man who knew the law intimately. Now hold that image for a second: a prominent attorney, a social media influencer, a pop star, and a little girl caught somewhere between all of them. That's the world this case was born in. According to prosecutors, the trouble didn't begin overnight. It began the way so many family tragedies do, slowly, then all at once. Gabbie and Jack Avery had a daughter together, but by the time 2020 arrived, their co-parenting relationship had reportedly collapsed into something much darker: a bitter, grinding custody and visitation dispute, court filings, lawyer letters, accusations flying in both directions. These battles can hollow people out. That's not an excuse, it's context, because what prosecutors allege happened next is not a story of grief or desperation. It's a story of alleged calculation. According to a probable cause affidavit filed with the court, investigators say Francisco Gonzalez, the attorney, the father, the man who was supposed to know better, became deeply involved in the custody conflict. Not as a passive support, as an active participant. Investigators allege he worked to discredit, monitor, and remove Jack Avery from his granddaughter's life, that he hired a private investigator to surveil Jack, including tracking his movements in Hawaii. That he was allegedly feeding that information into the legal machinery of the custody war. But court filings don't stop there. According to prosecutors, one witness told investigators that Francisco Gonzalez once made a statement, chilling in its simplicity, words to the effect that it would be cheaper if Jack were dead. That sentence, allegedly spoken by a practicing attorney, is where this case changes shape entirely. Kai Farron Caudry, age 26, a surf instructor from Hawaii. At the time of the alleged conspiracy, he was Gabbie's boyfriend, and according to investigators, he became the operational center of what prosecutors are calling a murder-for-hire plot. Prosecutors allege that starting around 2020 and running into 2021, during a pandemic, when the whole world was locked indoors, Gabbie and Kai allegedly began exploring something so extreme it still seems almost cinematic, hiring someone to kill Jack Avery. And they allegedly weren't doing it with cash in an envelope, they were doing it the modern way. According to the affidavit, investigators allege Gabbie and Kai explored the dark web. They allegedly discussed Bitcoin payments and encrypted communication apps. They reportedly communicated over Signal, the messaging platform specifically designed to leave no trace. And then there was the plan itself. According to prosecutors, the alleged scheme included something specific and deliberately staged, making Jack Avery's death look like a car accident in Los Angeles. Think about that for a moment, not just a killing, an arranged disappearance of intent, a murder designed to look like tragedy. But a plan is only as strong as its funding, and this is where Francisco Gonzalez allegedly steps back in. According to financial records cited in the affidavit, in April 2021, Francisco sent Kai Caudry $10,000 through Square. The stated reason, web development services, but investigators say that when they looked into it, Kai himself reportedly told them he had never actually performed any web development work. That, prosecutors allege, was the money moving. It didn't stop there. According to the affidavit, investigators also traced two separate $5,000 transfers through a Gemini cryptocurrency account and a further $4,000 invoice through a website called Site Whisperer. When it was all tallied up, the alleged financial trail pointed toward payments totaling somewhere around $24,000, all allegedly disguised as legitimate business transactions. Caudry reportedly converted portions of those funds into cryptocurrency. Layer by layer, the alleged money trail was being buried in digital noise. Here is where any reasonable person has to pause. A Florida attorney, using multiple payment platforms, sending funds disguised as invoices to his daughter's boyfriend in Hawaii, who had allegedly been discussing dark web hitmen and Bitcoin payments. If the allegations are true, this was not impulsive, this was methodical. And then came the moment that unraveled everything. Somewhere in the alleged operational chain, investigators managed what federal law enforcement sometimes does in cases like this. They inserted an undercover agent, a federal operative posing as a hitman. And according to the affidavit, Francisco Gonzalez allegedly spoke with this person directly over the phone. During those alleged conversations, investigators say Francisco used coded language. He allegedly referenced prior cryptocurrency payments. He allegedly discussed verifying the target before arranging final payment. There was reportedly even a specific code word used in communications tied to the plot, one word, straight out of crypto culture, Bullrun. In trading circles, it refers to a rising market. But investigators allege it was being used as something else entirely here, a signal within the alleged conspiracy's own private language. The man on the other end of those calls was not a hitman. He was the government. Back in 2025, before any arrests, before any charges, Jack Avery gave an interview on the Zach Sang show. He was talking about music, about his life, about moving forward, and then he said something that at the time felt almost too strange to be real. He told the host that FBI agents had come to his home, that they warned him someone may have been plotting to kill him. He didn't name anyone. He kept it quiet. He kept it contained. But now we know what he knew then, that while he was co-parenting, while he was building a post-boy band career, while he was living his life, there was allegedly a plot in motion to end it. When the arrests were announced in May 2026, Avery issued a statement through representatives thanking law enforcement and emphasizing, above everything else, protecting his daughter. That was his priority, not revenge, not a press tour, his child. The arrests came on May 18, 2026. Gabbie Gonzalez was apprehended in Northern California and later transferred to Los Angeles County Jail. She appeared in a Los Angeles courtroom the following afternoon, facing 3 felony charges: conspiracy to commit murder, attempted murder, premeditated, and solicitation of murder. She was held without bail. Her father, Francisco Javier Gonzalez, was arrested the same day in Seminole County, Florida, on an out-of-state fugitive warrant tied to California charges. His charges, conspiracy to commit murder and solicitation of murder. He did not fight extradition. Kai Farron Caudry was also charged, same 3 counts as Gabbie. Los Angeles County District Attorney Nathan Hochman announced the charges publicly. He made no effort to soften the framing. The DA's office described it as exactly what prosecutors believe it was, a coordinated, multi-year, family-backed murder-for-hire conspiracy. In a statement quoted widely in coverage, the DA's office pointed to the role of Francisco Gonzalez and noted, with unmistakable weight, that most fathers raise their children to respect the law. In this case, prosecutors allege, a father allegedly helped his daughter and her boyfriend break it in the most serious way imaginable. Now, it's important to state clearly what we know and what we don't. Neither Gabbie Gonzalez nor Francisco Gonzalez had entered a public plea as of the most recent reporting. The charges are allegations. The affidavit represents investigators' claims, not proven facts in a court of law. Every defendant is presumed innocent until a jury or judge decides otherwise. There will be hearings, there will be motions, there will almost certainly be a period where defense attorneys push back hard on the interpretation of those financial records, those alleged communications, and the conduct of the undercover operation. That's how the legal system works, and it matters that we respect that process. What we can say is this: the paper trail is detailed, the charges are serious, and the multi-agency investigation appears to have been running quietly for years before the arrests were made. Here is where true crime often loses the thread. In the rush to build a villain narrative, we sometimes forget to look at the architecture of how something like this could even develop. Francisco Gonzalez was a wrongful death attorney, a man who spent his career litigating catastrophic loss, a man who understood, perhaps more viscerally than most, what the permanent removal of a person meant legally, financially, emotionally. And yet investigators allege he became the financial engine of a murder plot against the father of his own grandchild. Behavioral analysts who study family-based murder conspiracies often point to a phenomenon sometimes called proxy rage, where a parent, unable to control the outcome of a legal dispute, begins to feel that the system has failed them so completely that they take matters outside of it. The legal tools stop feeling adequate. Surveillance, litigation, financial pressure, they all start to feel insufficient. And in the most extreme cases, the calculus reportedly shifts. That is speculation on the psychology here, not a statement of fact, but it does raise a question worth sitting with. At what point does the fight over a child stop being about the child? And then there's Gabbie herself. She was 24 at the time of her arrest. Her daughter is 7, which means she was a teenager when she and Jack Avery had a child together. She grew her platform through that journey, young motherhood, travel, lifestyle content, a digital life curated to look joyful. But behind that curated feed, according to investigators, she was allegedly the one who initiated the dark web conversations, the one who discussed with Kai how the killing might be staged, the one whose bitter custody dispute served as the entire alleged motive for the scheme. The question prosecutors will likely need to answer in court is exactly how central she was versus how much she was led by others. Was she the architect or the passenger? The evidence, when tested in front of a jury, may tell a more complicated story. And what does her daughter know? What does she understand? That question hangs over this entire case like something no courtroom will ever fully resolve. This case is still active. Active in the most literal sense, charges filed just days ago as of this recording, no pleas entered, no trial date set. This story is not over. It is in many ways only just beginning. What we can say is that the alleged plot failed. Jack Avery is alive. The undercover operation worked. Whatever was set in motion in 2020 and 2021 did not reach its intended end. And law enforcement, by all accounts, was watching long before the public ever found out. But the family of a 7-year-old girl is now fractured in ways that are almost impossible to comprehend. Her father alive, her mother in jail, her grandfather fighting extradition. The man her mother allegedly wanted to hire, a federal agent. Her parents' custody war, the very thing that allegedly started this, now subsumed entirely by criminal proceedings. What happens to a child in the middle of all of this? That's a question no one in this case is answering publicly, but it might be the most important one. Before I let you go, there's one moment I keep coming back to. In September 2025, Jack Avery sat down for a podcast. He told the host that FBI agents had knocked on his door and warned him someone might be trying to kill him.
the FBI shows up at my door.
I was wondering what this was.
Yeah, so the FBI shows up at my door.
That's crazy. Like, what do you mean show? Like, so shows up?
Like 2 agents, they show up, and at the time I was like in the kitchen. My mom was making dinner. I had my shirt off, playing guitar, singing to her, and my friend, my little sister, had her friend over. So I thought it was her parents walking up. So I just opened the door with my shirt off, like, "Hey guys, what's up?" Like, and they're like, "Are you Jack Avery?" And for a second, I was like, "Oh," because they're like, "Yeah, we're the FBA." That's what I thought I heard. I thought I heard them say FBA, and I was like, "Oh, it's like some homeowners thing." Like, I don't know. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm Jack." And then they're like, "Okay, like, blah blah blah." And then as I start talking, my mom comes around. She's like, "Hey, what's going on? Is everything fine?" And then they drop their badges, and they're like, "We're the FBI. We would like to talk to Jack if we can." And my mom, she's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Like, is everything fine?" Like, and blah blah blah. And they're like, "No, Jack hasn't done anything wrong. We think he's a victim of something." And I'm like, keep in mind, like, anxiety, right? Anxiety's just starting to feel a little better. So as this happens, I'm like, bruh, like, not something else, bro. And so, yeah, we end up talking, and someone hired someone to kill me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He didn't know who, or if he did know, he wasn't ready to say. He answered questions about music and kept moving. He was living his life, knowing that somewhere allegedly someone had a plan, knowing the government was watching, knowing that whatever was coming had not yet arrived. That is a particular kind of dread, the kind you can't post about, can't put in a caption, can't turn into content, the kind you just carry. And maybe that's where this story ultimately lives, not in the dark web transactions, or the coded code words, or the disguised wire transfers, but in the ordinary human weight of a man who just wanted to be a father, not knowing how close the darkness allegedly got. As this case moves through the courts, there will be more to uncover: defense arguments, witness testimony, perhaps plea negotiations, perhaps a trial. What do you think happened here? Was this the product of years of unresolved rage, or something more calculated and premeditated from the start? And the deeper question, when you look at someone's social media and see a perfect life, what does this case make you think about what you're actually seeing? Let me know in the comments, because I have a feeling this is a case none of us are going to stop thinking about for a very long time.